Having a utility knife with replaceable blades like this Milwaukee FASTBACK is an essential piece of kit for anyone working in the trades. I remember when I was an electrical apprentice, gosh, almost 2 decades ago, long before the FASTBACK ever came out, but I had one of these. It's like probably a dozen different styles of utility knives with replaceable blades in my kits. When I worked on oil rigs for about 2 years, those were something that I would gravitate to a lot because you can just replace the blades at the end of the day, treat them like junk, and you don't have to worry about resharpening them. But not all of us are in the trades and don't need something quite that bulky, but you like the idea of just replaceable bladed utility knives. Well, in the last few years, I've been sporting and have recommended to you guys the WORKPRO. This is an inexpensive little option with a push button lock, very similar, that uses those replaceable blades. Fun action, lightweight, and has a loop over deep ride pocket clip. But I'm always looking to update or fine tune the system. And so I was looking at this little guy. Check that thing out. Wow, this is the, I'm gonna make sure I get this right here, O-knife. And I believe they call it the Otacle U1 or Tackle O1, I'm not quite sure. Utility knife. This thing is a blast, guys. Got it recently, started putting it through its paces. And I gotta say, right out of the gate, one of the things I love is the extra amount of exposed blade that you do not always get with most other utility knives. You get about 2 inches on this guy because of the way it's designed, whereas you're only gonna get about 1 inch of blade length on the WORKPRO as well as the FASTBACK. And what that means is an accelerated level of performance because you have more blade to draw across, say, hemp rope, cardboard, and therefore accelerate the cuts. So this is a very effective cutting instrument. In tandem with the way that they even designed the back housing here is relatively slim with just a little kick out for the lock that we'll talk about, whether or not that's something that drives me crazy or not, what keeps it in the blade in place. But you can see when you line that up next to the WORKPRO there, the WORKPRO is quite a lot thicker as well. So if you accidentally get into that with material, it bogs down really fast where you're not gonna run into quite the same issue with this O-knife design. So excellent performance in that regard. If we're talking about a utility knife, take standard utility knife blades, obviously. Then you have a crossbar lock. I think this is the first one I've ever seen with a crossbar lock, and it is snappy. Honestly, guys, I don't really notice a difference between this and many of my crossbar locks that I currently own from all sorts of different distributors. It is impressive. Now, it's very slim. It is obviously designed to be like in the 5th coin pocket or to be, just generally carried. You can definitely do that, but depending on the size of my pants, it will disappear in certain 5th coin pockets. And that bar right there locks into place. The stop bars are actually on, you can see in there, cocooned in housing of the handle and locks into place. And guys, this is a very solid lockup. It's better lockup than what you get on the WORKPRO by far. You get a lot of play, a lot of slap, and a lot of sloppiness. This is very tight. No up and down, no side to side. Now, I'm not gonna tell you it's as strong or something I would take over the FASTBACK when I go, if I was going to a job site or gonna be helping a friend, remodel their basement or something this weekend. I would take the FASTBACK, but for somebody who is carrying this and wants something a little classier but likes this idea, this is far and away an excellent option, and it runs on ball bearings. So not ideal for a job site, but a blast to just whip open and close at the office or just around your home. It has got an excellent little action there. And it's accentuated with that carbon fiber G10 mixed handle. I mean, it looks like a classy folder, guys. I mean, I've had folders with less class. All the edges are rounded, machined well. It's not sharp anywhere. And then that loop over deep ride pocket clip with a recess screw. I mean, like this, the clip doesn't rotate around. So again, you can easily carry it just as like a basic pocket knife, or again in that 5th coin pocket, or just throw in an EDC kit, whatever you want to do. But that is super impressive. Now, there are 2 aspects that I'm not quite so hot on that I want to address in a moment. But before that, I will let you know, first off, what I paid for this. I bought this little guy here, and I paid $25. So that's what you're gonna be paying for this guy. That is a little bit steeper or about the same price as like the screwdriver-based Milwaukee. So, and again, like I stated earlier, you can get a 3-pack of these guys for like 15 bucks. But because it basically is like a mini pocket knife, I see the value at $25 that this is sporting. So if you are interested in any one of these 3, I will have links in the description box below over to the affiliate networks I partner with. And with that, I do want to invite you guys to hit that like button and to consider subscribing to the channel. Become part of the Gideonstactical crew here. Make sure to hit the bell icon so that you can be notified every week when I put up new videos like this, highlighting different pieces of gear and equipment, showing you the pros, and in a moment, a few of the cons to help you make those wise choices. And just like how having a utility knife on hand gives you an extra peace of mind that you'll be able to handle certain situations or even emergencies if or when they arise, I do want to let you guys know about a piece of gear that goes with me on all of my outdoor adventures and definitely gives my wife and I peace of mind, and is today's sponsor, which is ZOLEO satellite communication devices. Now, you outdoor adventurers know that being able to communicate with the outside world, with your loved ones, and in an emergency situation, be able to reach out to first responders is vital. And with ZOLEO's dedicated SOS button, engaging with the Iridium satellite network makes it super easy to reach out to first responders. But I want to hone in on their SMS features that stand out compared to others in the industry. You know, there's no service here, just to give you a quick example. Hopefully you guys can see that right there. So I'm going to go ahead and send a message here, just to let her know I've arrived and that we're going to start testing any minute now. Hope you're doing well. Love you. Arrived at the spot. I'm going to start testing now, period. So we'll give it a minute or two, and we'll see how long. It's 10:24 right now when I sent it. We'll see how long it takes to get it back. And as I'm waiting for that message to come back, what I like is when you're inside the ZOLEO app, you can use up to 900 plus characters to give much more detailed communication back and forth when necessary, which means you're going to have a better overall communication experience with the person that you're messaging. All right, I love this thing. So it is now 10:26, so it's been 2 minutes, and just got one back here. Love you, babe. Doing great. And guys, that's just one attribute of what ZOLEO and their satellite communicator offers. So I do invite you to go check out the link in the description box below, as well as my exclusive promo code, which will waive the $40 activation fee. You can go check out all that they have to offer, all the different levels of subscription, all the different things that this has and why I take it with me every time I go out. So I invite you guys to hop on over and check out all that ZOLEO has to offer. Now, what about the drawbacks to this design? Well, the first has to do with how you remove the blade. You have this little lock icon. It's just a screw that goes through. Now, when I got it, I could not manually with my hand release it, spin it backwards. I had to get a pair of Leatherman tools to release it. Now, it's hand tight, so you back it off like that to that point, and then there you go. You can release the blade. Now, obviously, you could transport it, store it. You could. I've heard some people. I haven't traveled recently with one of these that like airlines are starting to confiscate even these if you don't have a blade in there. So if that's true, leave a comment below. That's super annoying. But there you go. Then you wheelhouse it back and lock it into place, and then you really gotta like cinch it down because it will slowly back itself off if you kind of hand tight it. I basically have to often like will rub it on a piece of wood or something to kind of get it engaged all the way. It's just not super intuitive. The locking mechanisms to open and close like on the Milwaukee and on the WORKPRO are just a little bit easier and more intuitive, but you sacrifice the blade length with those type of styles. So it's a compromise. It's just something to be aware of that you're basically, you might actually have to have a multi-tool sometimes or be willing to like rub it on a piece of wood to really like lock it into place and then spin it backwards to release it when and if it comes time to swap out blades. So that's the first thing, just kind of be aware of that can be a little bit of a headache. Now the second part is the handle. It's obviously designed to be like a little mini tool, and I found that it's a 3-fingered knife for me with my large size hands. There you go. Okay, so it's not going to give you like massive grip, obviously like the Milwaukee, get down on it and cut through what you need. And even the WORKPRO, though similar in size, gives you this huge spot right here where the other one has the blade, where you can get all your hand on and really put leverage on the blade if necessary. Now, it's not super comfortable, but you can do it. This one, they didn't really give you a choil or anything right up here. They should have ground this in a little bit more, because if I rest like this, then I have full grip and I can really put some massive leverage, but I am terrifyingly close to that blade. So it's not really ideal. I did find that I was able to get most leverage for what you would use with this tool when I was gripping it like this, but ideally I would love to have seen a dedicated kind of just machined cocoon right there for your index finger. That would have been a little bit better. And ultimately, I would love to see an extra large version of this coming out an extra inch, everything exactly the same for those people who would like to carry it as just a dedicated pocket knife. As it stands, I think it's just a good little backup tool that can absolutely get basic utility tasks done and get enough leverage to cut through everything you've seen in this video, including, you know, polymer piping, things like that, cardboard, and just, you know, basic rope and stuff. But to have a full-size handle, I think a lot of people would end up taking this over like inexpensive pocket knives. So I think that's something that I would love to see down the line. Leave a comment below and let me know if you want to see an extra large version of this. But as it stands, this is definitely not going to be dumped out of the collection and will start to be put in rotation, and I think is going to usurp in my EDC kit the WORKPRO. That's me, that's my mileage with this, but I look forward to hearing from you guys, particularly if you own one. How has it been performing for you for the long haul? Do you see value in these little guys, particularly compared to like the titanium ones? You can spend like $100 on, no problem. This one being really inexpensive, but really functional and a solid lockup with, I think, overall some excellent design features. Appreciate you guys hanging with me today. I do invite you to check out the other video popping up and to subscribe. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.